You think you make rational decisions, that you see facts for what they are. That logic is your fortress. But there's something that turns even the smartest people into prisoners of their own minds. It's the rational illusion, the most deceptive form of self-deception. It creates the feeling that you're acting logically, when in reality, your brain is simply justifying a decision you already made. The same event can be explained in completely different ways, depending on the story you want to believe. Today, you'll learn why your brain pretends to be logical, even though it works very differently beneath the surface. And at the end, I'll give you a quick 30-second test that will show how deeply you fall into the rational illusion right now. The rational illusion. Why logic betrays us. The rational illusion is a state where a person believes they're acting logically, while in truth, they're just covering up emotions and impulses with pseudo-logical explanations. The brain makes decisions subconsciously in a split second, and only afterward does it create a reasonable story to make that decision look logical. You don't think, I just like believing this. You say, this makes sense. This is a fact. The problem is that the rational illusion makes you predictable. You don't choose the best option. You choose the one that's easiest to justify to yourself. And the smarter you are, the more sophisticated these justifications become. The rational illusion is not stupidity. It's a defense mechanism. It gives you a sense of control, even when you don't have any. And that's exactly why it's so hard to notice. The first form is the illusion of objectivity. You believe you see the world without distortion, but every judgment you make is filtered through your experiences, fears, desires, and past. When something fits your expectations, you call it logical. When it doesn't, you call it nonsense. The second form is the illusion of control. You give yourself credit and overestimate your influence on events. When things work out, it's because of you. When they don't, circumstances are to blame. This illusion creates a sense of stability, even when the situation is completely chaotic. The third form is the illusion of understanding. You believe you understand the reasons behind things, while in reality, you only see the surface. You can explain any event after it happens, but almost never predict it beforehand. All three forms do the same thing. They make you feel rational instead of actually being rational. The fourth form is the illusion of uniqueness. We're convinced that our problems are unique, that our situation is special, and that's why the usual rules don't apply to us. But statistics show something simple. 95% of these unique reasons are identical for millions of people. Accepting this feels uncomfortable because it takes away the feeling of being exceptional. A student believes they failed an exam because of special circumstances. They were tired, burned out, had a tough week. But if you compare thousands of similar stories, you'll see the same mix of reasons: late preparation, stress, poor planning. The illusion of uniqueness brings comfort, but takes away responsibility. If your situation is special, then you don't have to change anything because it supposedly won't happen again. The only way to break this illusion is to look at data. Check the statistics, compare cases, look for patterns. When you have real numbers, the romance of uniqueness dissolves. And what appears instead is reality, something you can finally work with. The fifth form is the illusion of focus. You see only what you expect to see, and you completely ignore anything that contradicts your expectations. This is the same effect behind the famous invisible gorilla experiment, where people focused on counting passes fail to notice a person in a gorilla suit walking through the scene. If you decide someone is unpleasant, you'll interpret every gesture and every word through that filter for the rest of the evening. Even a neutral sentence will sound like it has a hidden message. This happens in arguments, relationships, and work. We don't evaluate reality. We search for confirmation of what we already believe. To disable the illusion of focus, you need to force a context shift. Ask yourself, if someone else said this, Would I interpret it the same way? It's a small question, but it breaks the bias. And in that moment, you finally see what's actually happening, not what you expected to happen. The sixth form is the illusion of rational stability. You think your logic is stable, that you think the same in the morning, in the evening, under stress, and in calm moments. But that's an illusion. If your emotions rise even by 10%, rationality starts to evaporate. When you're calm, you build the perfect plan. Everything is clear, logical, structured. But the moment stress, pressure, exhaustion, or fear appears, your decisions flip. Priorities collapse, logic dissolves, and excuses appear. The illusion of stability is dangerous because it makes you believe, I always think the same way. That's why people overestimate themselves, make promises they can't keep, and commit to things in a good state that fall apart in a bad one. The best workaround is the 10-minute rule, done to make important decisions until the emotion drops at least a little. Logic doesn't return instantly. It needs space. The seventh form is the illusion of hindsight. It's the illusion that makes us say, I always knew it would happen this way. But the truth is, we read just explaining the outcome after it happened, an outcome we couldn't predict beforehand. When someone wins, we say, of course. He was motivated. He worked harder than everyone else. When he loses, we say, it was obvious he burned out and overestimated himself. Our brain hates uncertainty. So after every event, it creates a clean, logical story that gives us the illusion of understanding. It feels like the world makes more sense, but all we did was glue a convenient explanation on top of reality. To break the illusion of hindsight, you only need to do one thing. Write down your predictions before the event. Then look at how often you're wrong. At first, it hurts your ego, but it gives you something far more valuable. A real understanding of how your logic works, and more importantly, how often it fails. And these were the soft illusions. What comes next hits harder. And at the end, the test that breaks almost everyone. It shows how deeply the illusion shapes your decisions. Here's the twist. The rational illusion isn't a flaw. It's a survival mechanism. Your brain wasn't built for objective truth. It was built for a useful version of truth, one that saves energy, speeds up decisions, and protects you from overload. We don't see the world. We see a simplified model of it. We don't analyze every option. We choose the fastest path. We can't eliminate rational illusion completely, but we can learn to notice the moments when it tries to take over. The danger of rational illusion is that it creates false confidence. You stop questioning, and that means you stop growing. Some decisions feel obvious, when in reality, they're driven by fear. Others feel impossible, when they're just habits of avoiding discomfort. Rational illusion damages relationships. You start believing you know what the other person meant, when you're simply interpreting their words through your own emotions. It hurts careers. You defend the wrong strategies because you already invested time into them. And it blocks personal growth. You explain your weaknesses with logical reasons instead of acknowledging them and changing your behavior. Rational illusion is like a mirror that doesn't show your real face, only the version you want to see. And now, the test I promised. Quick and brutally honest. Think of any recent situation where you were sure your decision was completely logical. It could be an argument, a purchase, choosing a partner, choosing a project, your reaction to a person, anything. Now ask yourself 3 questions. First, if someone else made the same decision, would you explain their actions as logically as you explained your own? Second, do you have at least one emotional explanation that you don't like, but that might be true? Third, if you removed all justifications, would your decision change? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, the rational illusion is already shaping your actions. That's not a mistake. It's an entry point to awareness. Because an illusion you notice stops being an illusion. So tell me, Which rational illusion catches you most often? Control, logic, or uniqueness? Want to figure out exactly where your thinking is misleading you? Hit follow. We'll break it down together.